Hello again, guys. We're back. Still beardless. What are we going to talk about today?
Still in the same clothes. This is actually 3 days later.
I smell better.
It's not difficult. We're here to talk about the Cardiff tournament called Into the West. This is run by the King brothers, and this is their first 100-point tournament, but the second tournament that they've ran from
Cardiff. Firestorm.
Now, Firestorm, before we say anything else, is a fantastic venue.
Awesome, it's beautiful.
Check it out online. You know, you've got a bar, you've got incredibly bright, well-lit place, impeccable terrain. To anybody who's thinking about starting a War Games venue, look at that as a good example of what one should look like. And we don't always have to freeze and squint in order to play. So, yeah.
So what's happening in Cardiff then? Well, what's going on? We've got a 100-pointer.
We've got 100 points. We've got 26 people paid up at the point that we're filming now.
Brilliant. Well, what's the capacity?
I think it can hold like 50. I think he's booked. He had to have an upper limit for the weekend.
Was
I
that
think
34
50.
tickets or something?
But, yeah, but he can hold. The venue can hold loads. It's huge.
It can rival Northwest Gaming Centre.
Yeah.
And you could eat your food off the floor. No comment on the rest. So how long is each game then?
It's 1.5 hours, and there are 4 games on day 1 and 3 on day 2, so you get off home a little bit earlier.
Points?
And it was 450 points. Sorry, I've got this all written down, so write it down, that's what I'm doing.
Okay. So we're going to crack on very quick because we haven't had a chance to speak to Alistair or Matt about this.
They're a bit far away.
They are, Tad. And we're going to look at getting some reviews done with some of the players who have actually gone to the tournament. The day of the tournament is in a week's time or so.
It's a week or 2 weeks. I think it's a week, because I think it's submissions tonight. Well, we're not going, so unfortunately my diary for the next few months is just mental. But yeah.
Okay, so we've covered points, we've covered how long each game is, the awards. Have we got an idea what points and prizes?
First, second, third, most sporting and best army. So it's pretty standard. Best army is always good because there's some people who are wicked painters in the community. It's always great to award them James Baldwin. And of course those people with commission painted armies as well. So there's prizes for those guys, and most sporting is always a good one because it's the most important prize of the weekend.
Give us a very quick rundown on scenarios there.
So they've kept a lot secret.
You can tell who's done all the research.
They've actually not released the exact scenarios. What we're seeing is the
he hasn't done a lot of research. He knows nothing.
I know nothing. So there's Taken Hold, which I think is obvious what it is.
Yeah.
Supply Run, which I think is going to be a Reconnoiter variant, or similar to Seize the Prize maybe, but I think more like a recon.
Okay.
Total Domination, which we were talking about this and we wondered whether it's going to be a huge domination variant with like 7 or more, or whether it's going to be one where there's bonus VPs if you capture more than your opponent does. Breakthrough, which I think will be like the scenario from the Green Books.
The blockade. Yeah, okay.
Cut off the head, which I think is like the old sever the head to slay the body.
Kind of Lords of Battle, but only the general or leaders or something?
It's kill the opponent's leader.
Okay.
So that was what it used to be, and it used to be if you did kill him, I think everybody took a leadership test, a courage test across your whole army to see if they flee. And then there's Last Stand, which has got a kind of
Whole
to
ground?
the death maybe, or High Ground.
High Ground,
could be. But that's what they've given us. But then they've given us further special rules.
Special rules.
So it's in the rules pack, and it says something on the lines of there will be rules that will allow for the effects of weather, magic,
movement.
Yeah, will affect movement and worse. So that could add a dramatic difference to the games that we're going to see.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like with Ripon, it will add something to the game. If it doesn't, well, it's just one tournament, and we've all learned something especially us TOs. We've got something to think about with our next tournaments, because we love having those quirky rules that add another dimension to the game.
It is risky though.
And
first main tournament, a bit risky. I don't know. We'll see.
You have to try something. GW used to do funny things like this. We used to have cards that had extra bonus special rules on and stuff. That was quite fun. So it just depends which way it goes. So if you're playing in this tournament, you're thinking about your armies, where are you starting?
Well, I looked at a couple of points you brought up earlier. It's 450, so my sweet spot would be something like the Undying and the Fell Beast and a few orcs and a few basic captains in there as my usual little name scenario. But with the tweaks, if for instance there's reduced movement or potentially no flying in one game or no magic, then that's really going to upset. So perhaps even as you said, looking at an army that can only be affected by potentially one of those. So maybe no magic in your army, no flyers,
or
no archers. Who knows? I mean, whether we don't know what the secret things are. They could be that. They
might be boosts. It might be that magic becomes easier to cast,
or shooting becomes easier to.
Yeah, it might be like it's a fine day, or the wind's behind you, so you get +1 inch or something. I don't know.
I mean, the bottom line is, I would really struggle to set up an army, a competitive army, with so many X factors in there.
I think you have to build a really balanced army, and you have to build a silly army. You know, like they're doing a load of cave trolls.
Yeah. A few ends or something.
Well, if the special rules go the wrong way, I'll probably finish mid. But if the special rules hinder people who I'm playing against, I could finish top. You know, that's a similar thing to the way I've played quite a few tournaments now, and throwing the scores I came second in my faction with the dragon and watching the water. You know, I came fourth at Stockport with a group of eagles, Bilbo and Legolas, because you can get drawn against the perfect opponent. It's possible.
Yes.
You can get lucky, and at least with a bird cave troll army, you know you're going to have a laugh. So that's probably the way I'd take it.
My only concern is I do hope the lads haven't put too many quirky stuff in. I mean, little quirks here and there, fantastic. Entice the game, make it more
depends how strong these special rules are. Because they're modified scenarios, and we'll find out. I think we find out Monday or Tuesday before the tournament what the scenarios are. It could be that they've ran them full of special rules and it becomes complicated, or it could be they are just corrected versions of scenarios that we're familiar with, in which case that's perfect, and then these extra special rules about weather enhance the game. But the other things I forgot to say is they've done a couple of tweaks to the source books for this one.
Oh yes.
So Gandalf the White can lead troops from Gondor.
Very interesting.
And Girion can lead Army of Thrall. Now I think these are really good changes. We've been talking about the Gandalf one since the source books came out.
Yeah.
Is that it's a shame Gandalf the White is such a points investment. I only know one or two people who ever use him, and they don't use him because of competitiveness. They can use him for theme. So Gandalf the White with Eoma and a load of Riders of Rohan, that kind of thing.
That'd be really cool.
I love the theme of having Gandalf leading Gondor. Does it break the game? I don't think it would. I think it will be an amazing way to get Gandalf into tournaments. And Girion, at the moment, I've not seen Girion at a tournament. I'd love to see him.
I don't even know who Girion is.
He's the dad or granddad of
Syrian?
No, the bowman Bard.
Oh, Bard. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Something.
He's the one who fires the wind lance at Smaug and knocks his scale.
Of course. See.
In the film, and obviously in the book, just shoots him with a bow and arrow because he was cool back then. And then no 0 points Gollum, which isn't really a big deal because Dave's the only person who takes 0 point Gollum and he's not going. So.
Hey, there's a tournament coming up this year where it says no models are banned. Woohoo!
Where's that?
We'll talk about that.
Okay, right. Because if that's the case, I'm taking Tentacles Watcher in the Water, and the other one with just the tentacles.
That's all right. I'm taking. You're not going to that tournament anyway.
Okay.
It's one I'm making.
Oh, sorry, I'm not allowed to go, am I?
No.
Right. So, I mean, that's really the breakdown. I think balanced armies. I think there'll be some really just solid shield walls as usual.
Before we continue about armies, let's talk about a few of the competitors. The competitors originally were kind of low on the ground, as in the top 10. But now word has come out that a few of the top players are making cracks.
Yeah.
Ed Ball, Damien O'Byrne, Brian Byrne. Jesus, sorry, Damien.
Brian Byrne.
Brian the Brew, Damien.
Brian DeBurr. Okay. Damien O'Byrne, aka GBHL Damien.
Yes. Yeah, and there's a few others. So
that's good.
It's going to be very competitive.
They're also fun guys. Like if you get to play Damien or Ed on day 1, you'll have a laugh. They're not so fun to play on day 2 because either they're sulking because they're not winning the tournament or they're trying to win the tournament. That's not really true. I always have fun when I play either of them, but it's good.
I do hope next time I meet Damien, A, he doesn't kill me for pronouncing his name wrong, but B, we actually get a game that isn't Caesar.
It's alright, Damien, we've got steak knives here, so I could do it now.
Okay, cool. Is that Cardiff wrapped up at the moment?
I think that's
We're going to have a review with one or two of the competitors, as I said, and we'll get some info back on how Cardiff went. So, bottom line is, best of luck, guys.
Yeah, good luck, guys.
Have a good one. Okay.
Don't let Ed win.